Hello class. As I pointed out in the last module, run-ons are the most common grammatical mistake that students make. I'd like to just review it. A run-on sentence is a sentence that has two complete sentences that are incorrectly joined. You cannot join two complete sentences with just a comma. The corrections? Let's put a period. Let's fix it with a semicolon. Okay, today in this module we're going to cover a third way to correct run-on sentences, and that's using a coordinating conjunction. Okay, coordinating conjunction, more grammatical term than I've been using, but it's simple. Let's take a look at them and how they're used. There are only 7 coordinating conjunctions that you can use, and they are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. How can you remember them? The first letters, F-A-N-B-O-Y-S, and they spell fanboys. From the old Greek word, a mnemonic device. It's Greek, so you don't pronounce the end, and it's an aid to memory. So when you're using coordinating conjunctions between the two sentences, be sure you put a comma in front of the coordinating conjunction. But it's really the word that's connecting the two sentences. Let's go back to the one we've been using, which is he danced, he sang. Remember, I'm using that one to remind you that it's not just long sentences that are run-ons, but it can be short. Okay, he danced, it could be a period, it could be a semicolon, or we could use a coordinating conjunction to connect them. So we could say he danced, and which one of them might we use? We could use the simplest one. He danced and he sang. So the comma and connects these two complete sentences. Let's look at some more examples. I want to go home. I have to stay at school. I want to go home is a perfectly fine complete sentence. I have to stay at school is a perfectly fine complete sentence. The error here is using a comma, just a comma, to connect the two complete sentences. So let's look at how we could correct it using one of these. I want to go home and I have to stay at school. That's kind of weak. It doesn't show the relationship between these two situations. Which one of these shows this kind of conflict? I want to go home before I have to stay at school. That doesn't make any sense. And we said doesn't work. I want to go home nor I have to stay at school. Doesn't work. I want to go home but I have to stay at school. Sure. So there's our conflict. So we could put that in. We already have the comma. I just want to point out that there's one more that you could use that you don't tend to use very frequently. Okay, I want to go home or I have to stay at school. I want to go home, yet I have to stay at school. That would also work. It's not as commonly used. In fact, it's uncommonly used by college freshmen. You might want to think about using that sometimes in your writing. The subway was late. Joan missed her train. By now, you should be really on target with finding the source of the run-on. It's right here. 2 complete sentences incorrectly joined. Okay? So again, we could have put a period, we could put a semicolon, but we're going to use a coordinating conjunction. So which one? The subway was late for Joan missed her train. No, her missing it didn't cause it to be late. That doesn't make any sense. The subway was late and Joan missed her train. Yeah, but it's weak. It doesn't add any. It doesn't help the meaning. Nor doesn't work. The subway was late, but Joan missed her train. Doesn't make any sense. The subway was late or Joan missed her train. Doesn't make any sense. The subway was late yet Joan missed her train. No. The subway was late, so Joan missed her train. She didn't get to the Penn Station on time because the subway was late. Okay, so this expresses causality. This is the cause of this happening. Now this one I flipped, and because I want to point out something a little bit more subtle. Joan missed her train. The subway was late. Again, the run-on is here, 2 complete sentences. How can we fix it? Joan missed her train. Let's look at the first one. For the subway was late. it's telling us the cause is coming in this part of the sentence. This is causing her to miss her train. Using for as a causal connector is very unusual among college students. So again, you might want to play with that a little bit. To review, we have covered run-ons. We have, in our first module, covered 2 ways to correct them, using a period, using a semicolon. And in this module, we've covered the 3rd way to correct run-ons using coordinating conjunctions. We've covered that there are 7 coordinating conjunctions. They are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. And you can remember them by their first letters, which spells out fanboys. Now there are, surprise, surprise, exercises for you to do in this module. So go ahead and get to work on those. Thank you.